Everyone, it's Stephanie from Guiding Force Consulting, and today I wanted to share with you the importance of stewardship and the secrets for success that I've learned in about the 15 years or so that I've been fundraising in the nonprofit world. Stewardship is one of the most important key elements, I believe, to being a successful fundraiser. And I wanted to share some of the things that I've learned to help you take your stewardship to the next level or introduce you to stewardship if this is the first time you're exploring the topic. Before we dive in, I wanted to explain what stewardship is and is not. So what stewardship is, first, it's usually the most fun activity that fundraisers like to do. It's the opportunity to connect with your donors and supporters in a way that you are showing your appreciation. You're saying thank you. You're recognizing them for all they've done for your organization. And you're staying in touch with them throughout the year. What it is not is an opportunity to ask for more funds. So I would highly encourage anytime you do stewardship activities to keep them completely separate from your fundraising appeals and fundraising activities. The reason why is pretty simple. Anytime you receive a generous gift from somebody, you certainly wouldn't want to say, "Thanks for your great gift. We really appreciate it. Can you give us more?" Obviously, nobody is going to be out there saying those words, but when you attach fundraising under your stewardship, it's gently implied. So make sure you keep those activities separate, and it's going to help you become a better fundraiser in the long run. So my very first tip is to create a year-long plan. One of the best things to do is take a calendar, sort it out by 12 months, and write down one thing you're going to do in every single month to steward your donors. These can be activities that you're already doing. You don't necessarily have to recreate the wheel or create a ton of extra work, but incorporating things into a calendar just ensures that they don't fall off your radar. At the end of the day, as long as you do something every single month that is intentional to connect with your donors, they will realize and connect with you in that way. My second tip is to segment your list. You'll hear me talking about that ad nauseum. And I say that because it's just so important. I think it's one of the fundamental pieces of working with your donor base. You're not going to spend the same amount of time on somebody that gives a smaller gift as you are somebody that gave a larger gift, or perhaps has a potential to give a larger gift. And I certainly don't mean to minimize those smaller gifts. They're so important to every single organization. But when it comes to picking the time that you have available to spend, you want to adjust your time spent accordingly. So for the individuals that are at the top of the tier for you, whatever that means, give them a little extra time and attention and let them know you really appreciate their support. The third tip that I have is to track all of your activities and take notes. So this is where your CRM database is going to come in handy. But I will tell you, back in the day when I did the walk fundraising, I actually had a 3-ring binder. It was this book. I was known as the binder lady. And I had it all sorted out because I segmented my donor list even then. And I would open up the page, make the phone call, take notes right on the page. And I had that book available every single time I picked up the phone, sent an email, was getting ready to meet the person in real life, which we don't do much at these days, as well as getting ready to go see them before the event. So I tracked all of my activities and all of my notes because I wanted it fresh in my mind the next time I connected with them, what our last conversation was. And now you have great tech tools that can make that so much easier, as well as setting reminders for you within your database or your calendar to prompt you that it's time to follow up. The next thing that I can recommend is to track your progress. So if you're putting a lot of time and effort into your stewardship activities, I think it's really important to track the progress of your intentions and your efforts. So if you are really calling people and you're doing personalized communications to them, you're reaching out to ask their opinions and advice, track to see if those actions are showing some sort of improvement in whatever data you're tracking for your organization. Maybe that could be an increase in gifts. It could be the number of gifts. It can be an increase in your retention rates. It can be more people showing up to your events and activities. There's lots of ways to track that information. It's not a one size fits all for every organization by any means, but it is important to make sure the things that you are doing are working. And now I want to leave you with an organization that got stewardship very right. I went to a large breakfast downtown and it was a free breakfast. I was there because one, I definitely cared about the organization, but more importantly, I wanted to see what they were doing from a fundraising perspective. By no means was I spying or secret shopping, but I think it's really important for fundraising professionals to go to and experience other fundraising activities. So while I was there, I listened to the presentation. It was very moving. And at the end of the presentation, I made my donation. I put it in the envelope and I gave it to the team captain at the table. I would say probably within 2 hours of getting back to my office, I received a phone call from the table captain. And mind you, there's about 1,000 people in this room. It was a pretty significant breakfast. But the table captain called me to say, thank you so much for your donation. She referenced some things that we talked about that morning at breakfast and invited me on a tour. That was phenomenal stewardship because she just called to say thank you. She was genuine in that she referenced the things we talked about, and she invited me to engage further with their organization without asking for another gift. So I leave you with that story to just have you think about what can we do as an organization and what can I do as a fundraiser to really offer exceptional stewardship to the people that care so much about the organization and mission that I'm working for. I hope the tip helps you, these 5 tips, and I hope you have a great day fundraising. Take care.